What's up, guys? Raccoon the Whatever here, and today I'm going to do a part 2 of a collaboration with Phoenix Hokage. Go check him out for part 1, and this is part 2 of What If Deku was the reincarnation of Ikki Kurogane. Now, last he left off was the end of the Heroes vs. Villains. Now, as he said, All Might thought Izuku was working with All for One. Now, a day goes by after the Heroes vs. Villains, and we cut over to Izuku Midoriya but actually training with Momo Yaoyorozu. And what he's doing is, I forgot the name of the girl, but she's the one that wanted to get her dojo back in the anime. And he's doing that thing where he's touching her by her thighs, pretty much checking her posture and fixing it, as Momo's making the exact same noises and sounds, as well as blushing extremely hard. Now, we're going to leave that there for a second, as we cut over to All Might and Katsuki Bakugo. Now, what they're doing is, All Might is talking to Bakugo, and he's telling Bakugo, "Young Bakugo, do you remember about the villain I told you that gave me this injury?" As he pulls his shirt up, Bakugo's like, yeah, I did. What about it, All Might?" And All Might says, "Well, I find it strange how young Midoriya, which you said was quirkless, now has not only a spiritual quirk, as well as a fire quirk." Bakugo then said, "Well, this damn nerd always had a spirit quirk. It was just so fucking weak, it was useless, honestly. With that fire quirk, I don't know. And what do you mean about this All for One? How could he be working with him?" All Might says, "Well, All for One has the ability to take and give quirks." And as All Might said this, Katsuki Bakugo's eyes widen. He's like, "What? Damn nerd's a villain?" As he's completely caught off guard. Now, of course, All Might, being a brain-dead idiot, tells Bakugo that they're going to run an investigation, see if he is or isn't. So, as we cut back over to Izuku Midoriya, we see a couple of pro heroes off in the distance watching over him, and Izuku sensed them. He knows they're there, but they don't know that. So as he's just training with Momo, and they see his actual swordsmanship, which is top notch. Now I'm pretty sure it's not Hitoshira, it's like Hitashira. That's the evolved version or the advanced version of the Itoshira with the red flames that he can shoot off. So that's what it is. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be covering the USJ arc. I'm only going to be able to get the USJ arc down because I have to leave in like 30 minutes. So this is going to be a short one. Sorry about that, guys. But I'm going to get straight back into it. Now, as a couple weeks go by, as they've continued their investigation, as well as seeing how Izuku, for some reason, always goes to sleep when he gets home. Them not knowing anything about his quirk, so they don't really say anything or mention anything, but they still write it down in the report. Now, Momo, on the other hand, they've also watched her to see if she's also a villain. Now, after this week, they go back and they report to All Might saying that they found absolutely nothing, and there's no way he could be anywhere near or anywhere affiliated with the #1 villain, All for One. Now, All Might's like, "What? There's no way." And explain to me how he has a fire quirk. Now, the pro hero is like, "We don't know about that." And they say, "Maybe you can ask the kid himself." All Might's like, "No! He'll find out that I'm suspecting him as being a villain." Of course, being the brain-dead idiot he is. And Nezu heard about All Might's little private investigation. He's honestly disappointed in All Might for quite a lot of things. #1, suspecting a student of being able to affiliate with the #1 villain and also get into UA at the same time. And so Katsuki Bakugo has been avoiding Deku, and he's also been spreading some rumors around. Now these only stay in Class 1A because Bakugo told him not to tell the rest of anybody. So everybody's been kind of avoiding Deku other than Momo Yaozurozu. Now this goes on for 3 days until All Might finally asks Izuku how does he have 2 different quirks? And Izuku says, "What do you mean 2 different quirks, All Might? I only have 1 quirk. It's just a technique that evolves the quirk and makes it stronger." All Might's like, that's not possible. There's no quirk in the world like that. And this is when Izuku replies with, "Oh, there's no quirk in the world like that, just like how there's no quirk in the world that allows you to pass quirks on to people." All Might's like, "What are you talking about, young Midoriya?" "I'm talking about how you gave Bakugo your quirk." And All Might's eyes widen. He says, "Young Bakugo told you?" And Deku's like, No, he didn't. I just feel the same presence and the same energy as I see in Bakugo." He's like, what does that even mean, young Midoriya?" He's like, "I feel energy. I can feel what types of energy. Now, some people emit the same ones, but yours is just too familiar. Similar, my bad." And now, All Might's little pissy fit on Izuku being a villain goes out the drain. Because he knows about One for All. Was it One for All? Yeah, it's One for All. And All for One, my bad. So he knows about One for All, and he's keeping it to himself, so All Might has to trust him. Now, All Might didn't believe him about the whole sensing energy and shit like that, so he scolded Bakugo about telling Izuku, and Bakugo said the same shit. He said, "I ain't tell that damn nerd anything." Now, we cut to a certain day where Aizawa comes in and says, I hate this class. Well, everybody, Principal Nez has scheduled us a field trip to go to a hero rescuing field trip. Something like that. It's at the USJ. So get your gym uniforms on and get on the bus. So he just walks out. Everyone's stunned but Izuku because, as Phoenix Hokage said, he stays calm and collected no matter what. Now, as they get on the bus, Momo and Izuku sit next to each other because they're about the only people she's about the only one that's not avoiding Deku. And also Bakugo's not avoiding him. You now go back to that dickhead personality who still talks to him, but is a dick. So the USJ goes as usual. It takes the villains a little bit longer to get there. And why? For plot's sake, because I can't really think of a good reason why at the moment. So they were... As the portal opened, Izuku felt a sinister energy. He says, Mr. Aizawa? Aizawa says, "What do you want, kid?" He says, "So, I'm going to make a pretty good prediction to say that there aren't supposed to be villains here." Aizawa was like, "What do you mean, villains, kid?" Because Izuku hasn't started any problems, so he's not called a problem child yet. Keyword, yet. As not All Might, but Aizawa looks, as Aizawa looks down and sees said portal open as all the thugs come walking through, the same number as in canon, as immediately Aizawa jumps down, and to Aizawa's surprise, Izuku jumped down as well. Now, Aizawa's like, kid, what are you doing? Get back up there. You're still a student. And he says, yeah, and you're just a teacher. I was just like, God damn, problem child. Yep, that's where he gets problem child from. Now, as they go and start throwing hands with every single thug there, as instead of Aizawa getting caught off guard by some of them, he's not getting hit at all because he has Izuku as backup. Now, Izuku being a master of the sword, he hasn't used his sword yet because he doesn't want to injure anybody that much. But whenever the thugs start overwhelming them, he pulls his sword out, but he puts it in the mode where it just slices through people and it causes damage to their soul but doesn't permanently destroy it. It just kind of like depletes them of energy and makes them feel pain where they were hit, but it's not lethal in any way. So it's basically the Blazer. As Phoenix Hokage said, he is a technical Blazer, but that's not what they're called. It's Cork. As Izuku begins fighting with every single villain there, give me a minute. As he begins fighting with every villain, Aizawa sees him slicing through villains and he says, kid, don't kill them. And Izuku's like, I'm not killing them, Aizawa. I'm just practically damaging them a bit, but not to a lethal point. Aizawa's confused. So he doesn't pay much mind to it because he's still fighting villains at the moment. Now, Shigaraki's looking at it, he's like, cheaters, 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 you're all a bunch of cheaters. Kirigiri, get the Nomus. Yes, I said Nomus. Plural. As two Nomus come walking through, one of fire resistance, strength, and a draining quirk, and one with the usual strength, shock absorption, things like that. And they both have regeneration. As one targets Izuku and one targets Aizawa. Of course, the one from the canon targets Aizawa and the one from the new one targets Izuku. Now, Class 1A has been fighting some villains, but, well, they didn't get teleported because the fight immediately started. So, as they're fighting, as everyone's watching them fight, Bakugo tries to join in, but he gets bodied by the Nomu that's beaten down on Aizawa. Momo, worried about Izuku, tries to help, but also having Izuku tell her, Momo, get back, he's too powerful. As he goes into the Hitoshira, pretty sure it's called? No, the Itoshira first. As he begins to try and fight with the Nomu, as the Nomu has some speed, but not as fast as Izuku is. As Izuku's slicing through it with the phantom form of the blade, as it's doing absolutely nothing. It's now, he turns the blade into a realm, but he's going for like the body parts and limbs. He doesn't want to try and kill this thing. So, as he begins to slice at it and everything like that, he gets hit a couple times because he's not trying to kill anything. So he's practically leaving himself open. As he's beginning to get hit, breaking some bones, but not that much. As now he's going for the kill, stabbing at its chest, doing everything he can to try and kill it, because he's taking a lot of damage. And it's absolutely doing nothing. Now, this is when he goes into the Hitoshira. Now, the Hitoshira, as he shoots the flames at the Nomu just walks through it like Kale did Goku's Kamehameha and the Tournament of Power, and grabbed Izuku by the face and started slamming him on the ground and running him through the ground. Now, everyone's in shock at this, seeing how strong said Nomu is. As Izuku is so weakened by this, he drops out of the Itoshira. Actually, give me a minute. Yeah, so as I was saying, as Izuku's being backed down and beaten and battered, now inside his head, Ikki and... I can't believe I just forgot her name. Stella, my bad. Stella are worried about him because they know that this is a foe even Ikki could not take. Now, Izuku standing up and activating Ito Shore for the second time. And Ikki can only go in, not Ikki, Izuku can only go in that state for 2 times a day. Like Ikki, he can do it 2 times a day for 5 minutes each time. As he goes into it for the 5th minute, well, the 5 minutes again, so a total of 10 minutes. As he begins slowing down with it, using his speed to get an advantage, which isn't really helping because he still doesn't know the weakness of the Nomu. Now, 4.5 minutes go by as Izuku's stamina is slowly depleting, well, rapidly depleting at this point. As now he's growing concerned for himself. But as he's about to try to run away, but he's still in that calm, as he's about to try to run away, he sees Momo, and he kicks back to reality. Now, Ida has already ran after to get All Might, and Izuku finally drops out of, almost said Ultra Instinct, out of Itoshura. And he's on one knee, trying to stand up, but it's really painful. He's tired. And he has small glimpses of everything his life been through, and he's thinking he's gonna die. But he finally sees the glimpse of Momo. And this is whenever he screams at the top of his lungs, "Ito, shut up!" And a massive aura shoots up, blowing a hole in the top of USJ. Now, everyone's confused as they look over, and Izuku's saying, "I don't need 5 minutes. All I need is 5 seconds." As Izuku's body just flicks out of existence to them. But now we look over at Izuku, who's in the middle of moving, but he doesn't see in color. All he sees is black and white. His eyes are red, and the Nomu looks frozen in time to him. Now, at this very moment, he instantly gets there as he does 1,000 cuts as fast as he can, and these being all deadly blows, aiming for the heart, kidney, liver, and also the brain. Now, Izuku did this for 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes, 5 seconds. As everything stops, as everyone looks over at Izuku, as they see practically blood all over him. He's bloodied up everywhere. His eyes are bleeding. Everything's bleeding. As the Nomu falls over, cut into bits and pieces. Now, this is when All Might arrives. Seeing Izuku also gave him that frown. He was pissed. But Aizawa still got his ass beat by that one, so All Might still had to fight that one. Wasn't Prime Might. So the fight went practically the same way. Now, Izuku passed out from exhaustion, and as he was out for about 3 days. So when he woke up, he saw Momo sleeping next to his bed, drooling. As he just smirks, and she wakes up, and she just gets embarrassed. He's like, "You saw me drooling, didn't you?" He just chuckles and he says, "Yeah, I did." She has a pouty face on as usual. What time is it? Gotta leave in 2 minutes. It's not good. I'll stay for I'll try and get it to 25. It's probably the best I can do. Then I have to leave. It sucks, honestly. So as he woke up, everybody comes in there, even the one and only Bakugo. All Might comes in and saying, "Young Midoriya, I'm sorry for ever thinking you were a villain." And now he's already said this to the rest of Class 1A, so now they all start talking to him again as they visit him. Izuku's in the hospital for 2 more days because his injuries were to that extent. And he does have a scar on his right arm like he did in canon. from using Ito Shura in his right hand while he was in the Ito Risetsu. If you don't know what it's called, that's what its name is in the dub version, Ito Risetsu. Meaning, the Risetsu meaning demon. So, as we look over at Izuku, after a couple hours waking up, he's still dazed a bit, but he's wide awake. And he was training in his mindscape. Now, when he got there, Ikki had such a smug look on his face, as Stella had a very, very pouty face, as Izuku says, "What's up with those faces, guys?" And Stella's like, "I hate you." He's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what did I do?" And Ikki's just chuckling. He's like, "You used it, the Ito Risetsu." Ikki, as Izuku's like, "Ito Risetsu?" He says, "That thing where you used your 5 minute and converted it into 5 seconds. That's the Ito Risetsu. Even though yours lasted longer than mine, it's the Ito Risetsu." So I was like, "Shut up, Ikki." And so Izuku starts laughing. He says, "So why is she so pouty about it?" He said, "Because we had a bet." A bet? And Izuku woke up after they said that. It just kind of pissed him off because he wanted to hear what the bet was about. But we now look at the one and only Sleeping Beauty on his bed, which we already talked about. Now, Izuku gets out of the hospital like 2 days later. 3 days, my bad, 3 days. As he gets straight back to training. My man's a workaholic when it comes to training. So, Izuku has been teaching Momo all of his tips and tricks. Like his, of course, the one and only flash step drive. The phantom drive, my bad. I really like that addition he added in. As he taught her that move. Now, Izuku told her to swear that she'd never teach anyone but her kids. Now, when he said her, whenever he mentioned her kids, she blushed a bit, thinking, "Oh, them two together forever, having children, things like that." Yup. Give me, my mom's calling for me. Alright, sorry about the pause, guys. I have to go now, so this will be the end of the video. I'm sorry that it's so short. And if you want to go watch part 3, that will be on Phoenix Hokage's channel. Go check him out. Really good YouTuber. I really like his content. So, yeah, go check him out. Part 3 will be up there, I think, today or tomorrow morning. That's it for today, guys. Peace out.